let's just take a sec to enjoy the nice, calm music on this one. Up next we have Quality Dreams, Reasonably Priced. Yep, nailed it. I'm so good at this. I'm such a good person at streaming. This is Quality Dreams, Reasonably Priced by Zorky Studios, I believe it is. They had a potential for a few different games in the festival. They have another one, a fantasy-themed one called I'm Making a Monster, which looked really interesting to me, but I think they were unsure whether or not the demo would be ready or not in time for today's stream. So we're going to check out Quality Dreams Reasonably Priced instead, which also looks really good. I do worry it's going to stress me out again, because it's, again, we're doing businessy things, and I don't like doing businessy things. But I am still interested to see where we go with the characters and everything, because in the last one, choices were important, but the characters were less developed. Obviously, still a demo, so you know. There's another capitalism game. Let's just make that the theme of this day. I don't think it would fit for the last two of the day, but I think it's not a capitalism game. So, yeah, kinda. Also, to be fair, I didn't know what, I keep forgetting what it's called, Butterside Down was going to be like, either. All I knew is it was on a computer and weird looking. Anywho, Quality Dreams, Reasonably Priced. Let's check it out. There we go. I was beginning to get worried. Thank you for trying out this demo. We're a two-person team based in Canada, and we hope you enjoy our game. We'd appreciate if you left us feedback so we could improve the game. We hope you enjoy our demo. Aw, cute. We'll continue. All I've ever known is the city. All I've ever seen are her walls. I mean, look at that, though. Look at that art, though. Extremely Sable vibes. Off the bat. Please buy my game, I don't want to go back to working in an office. So pretty, right? Gorgeous. A glittering metal spike piercing the barren land, embedded deep in its sands. My alarm goes off and I sigh. I'm too tired for work. Hang on, I might need to adjust. Ooh. Yes, but also no. Can I... full screen? Well, yes. There we go. Now we're talking. Bump the text speed up a little bit, but I think it was pretty much fine. Yeah, how is the sound balance and everything, by the way? Let me know. I leave my apartment building and make my way to the city elevator. I punch in the number for a floor far above mine and pay the fare. I cram myself into the shoebox elevator burrowed in the city's bones. My stomach drops as it begins its ascent. I consciously relax in the never-familiar press of people, trying to force myself comfortable and pull myself awake. It's a shame that time doesn't stop for the weary. Boy, tell me about it. 19 minutes later, 19-minute elevator ride? Oof! I've made it to the clinic. The lobby is often quiet. We don't see many clients in a week. I make my way to the coffee machine, blinking back my fatigue. As my mug fills, I notice Baron walk into the lobby. Hi, Jin. Got a minute? It's never good when your boss wants a word. We're not going to be able to make this problem go away. Yeah. Sure, Baron. What's up? Whoa! Very cool character designs. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by the concept of this game as well, which we will get into. But also, I am worried. Boy, am I worried. But that's always going to happen, isn't it? I wanted to have a quick chat to see how things have been going. How you been settling in? That kind of thing. If I've learned anything in my month working here, it's that this chat will not be quick. Let's talk in your office. He starts walking off, not waiting for my reply. Take a sip of coffee. I take a sip of my coffee and watch him walk for a bit. Then I let out a sigh and follow him back into my office, dread crawling up my spine. When I come in, Baron has settled where my clients usually sit. He gestures for me to take my seat, and I do, watching him with trepidation. So, Jin, you've been here about a month. How do you feel things are going? I think they're going excellently. Great. Everything's been really smooth, and I feel like I'm really finding my stride. That's not really how I'm seeing things right now. Oh no! I feel my stomach drop. You're not hitting your targets. And I know, you're new, this is your first job as a Cycline, and it's been a slow month in terms of clients. I get that. And despite all of that, I'm still gonna blame you. I feel confident you'll do better when you're in the full swing of things. But just for my own peace of mind, and for your good as well, I'd like us to do a little mock client interview. Pretend I'm here to get some mods. Are there any specific areas in which you think I can improve? And why don't we begin, and I'll show you as we go. I swallow a sigh. Alright, welcome to Envisage Poetry. That was me talking, not Baron. Oops. 1 month ago, we had 100,000 patients. Today, we have 100. I try my best not to cringe when I say the name. How Baron came up with something so awful, I'll never understand. Hi, I'm Jin. My pronouns are any/all. I'll be consulting on your modifications today. Hello, Jin. I'm Baron. My pronouns are he, him. It's very nice to meet you. I'm a little surprised you didn't go for a fake name. And before we start, would you mind filling out this form? I don't think there's a need for that. Can you just ask me about what you need to know? Yes, love it. It's Mimsy. Crap, I think your boss is woke. It's our clinic standard procedure for you to complete this form before we conduct our assessments. Just ask me the questions and write my answers into your form. Oh no, I don't know! This is... our performance review is going to be so difficult when I don't know what our problems were beforehand. It's Mimsy, yeah, exactly. Concede. Alright. Not so hard, right? This is the boss testing our behavior with pushy clients. That's the thing! Exactly, right? It's like, no, you've got to follow the procedures properly. Or if it's, sometimes you're just gonna have to put your head down and be like, okay, that's fine, I can do that much. Whatever. Don't chase the clients off by being too much of a stickler. Force down my irritation and open the form. And could you tell me how old you are? Try that again. As part of our screening process, it's important for us to know your age to guarantee your comfort and safety during possible procedures. Could you tell me how old you are? Sure, little robot. I'm 37. What's your current occupation? You might not believe it, but I actually own a small body mod clinic. Him. What a coincidence! Please tell me more. I'd love to. Here he goes again. When my father passed a few years ago, he left me the body mod shop he'd started and told me to make something good of it. I'm not sure if he meant to do good or be profitable, but I choose to believe he meant to do true good. To bring goodness into the world. I think I might turn the game down a smidge. So, I took the little clinic and I diversified it. We increased variety and dropped prices. Now, more people than ever can access mods. Did it cost me? Of course it did. Well, at the beginning at least. Do you think he took his dad apart and sold him? I think there is a non-0% chance. But it was all worth it to give more people access to mods. He loves to tell this story any chance he gets. So, what mods are you interested in getting? Not sure. Maybe something to add a glow to my tattoos? I mean, that does sound pretty sick. That's a good choice. It's really in right now. You saying it's unoriginal? I just mean it's popular. Okay. Let's pause for a second. Most clients will have an idea of what they want, and that's great. People don't always know what's best for them. You have to learn about them and guide them to the best decision. This is what I'm most scared of. It's not always just like, they want this, 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 cool, we can do that. It's like, no, sometimes what they need is this. Client uncertainty. What if the client's uncertainty is indicating that they're not ready for this decision right now? Then it's your job to uncover the truth and make them certain of what you decide. They should leave feeling that they made the right choice, even if that choice is not getting mods. Getting mods reversed is very expensive, and often we can't put someone back to exactly how they were before the initial procedure. We don't want our customers to be dissatisfied or asking for refunds. We're trying to bring joy into the world. When mod is bad call. What about a scenario where the customer really shouldn't have the mod? Then don't recommend it. We're not here to scam anyone or cause them harm. Mods make people happy, or they should. If the mod isn't helping, then we shouldn't be recommending it. But I really doubt that'll ever happen. Jin's face reflecting mine right now. Mods make things better. Maybe this hypothetical customer just hadn't found the right mod yet. New game! Welcome in Not Animal Tested. We are on a new game. We're selling body mods this time. Whenever I get a tattoo done, it does feel like I'm talking to a therapist. In that case, your job would be to help them uncover the mod that's right for them. And on that note, let's get back to it. I may or may not want glowing tattoos. That's all the form questions out of the way. Time to move on to the rest of the interview. And what makes you want glowing tattoos? What do you like about them? They look nice. They're in fashion, but cheap. What's not to like? Resting after mods? You'll need to take the rest of the day easy once you've had the procedure. Can you make time for that? No. What's wrong? You can't ask like that. You need to ask nicely, like... Do you have any plans for after the procedure? You want to be unclear what I mean if I say that? Then ask a follow-up question. Do you need a script? Do you have any plans for after the procedure? Not particularly. Just gonna head home. Maybe spend the following weekend with some friends. That wasn't so hard, was it? Yes, boss. No, it wasn't. Good. What does your budget look like for this procedure? Oh, it's very tight. 3,000 at most. I note it down. Glowing tattoos usually range from 600 to 5,000 depending on the size, features, and whether there's a complete design on the skin. Will that be a problem? I mean, 3,000 is seemingly well within the range, but we don't necessarily want to be like, yes, that can probably cover all of the tattoos you have. But I imagine Baron won't be happy with an answer of maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Stay with me here. Come on. We're in the middle of an interview. Ah, sorry. Maybe? It could, depending on what model and features you end up choosing, but I'll be here to help you pick something within your budget. Perfect. Next phase. Alright, I think I've got what I need. Let's move on. No, that's no good. Talk to me more first. Build rapport. It's better if you talk to them for longer. Doesn't that just mean I see fewer clients in a day? People like to feel important and looked after. You want to make them feel special, like you care about them. And when people talk a lot in conversations, they leave with a more favorable impression of you. So, get them talking and keep them talking. Seem interested in what they have to say. What is there to talk about? Can't you make small talk? It's about their work, hobbies, whatever. How friendly do you expect me to be with clients? Enough to be personal, to make them like you. And if it seems like they feel better with friendly, then you should be even more friendly. If a customer tells you what they want, that's what you do. You're not some wise monk on a mountaintop. I don't know. I appreciate this company ethos. A boss telling you to spend more time with people instead of chunking through them as fast as possible? Unrealistic. And that professional client boundaries I should be minding? Oh, don't worry about that. It's not like you're a doctor, or licensed for that matter. You're a salesperson, not a therapist. Will having longer client sessions impact my salary or commission? Now, why would you think that? Ah, but you're ready to constrict the free flow of water. I feel that fixing someone's leaking toilet and replacing parts of their body are somewhat different things here, Ravine. I can't help but feel that's a false equivalence. Before we get back to it, I want to make sure you understand that you're a salesperson first. It's fine to form connections. I encourage it, even. Usually makes the selling go better. Remember, you're not a therapist. You don't have to abide by any rules. I like talking to clients and getting to know them. It's the best part of my job. Ravane is talking about the human toilet. Ravane, were you in fact talking about the human toilet? When Baron talks about it like this, something about it feels vile. The ethical implications twist in my stomach. I don't know what that is. I suspected you might not. Neither do I, to be honest. How do you like your job? Oh, I love it. Makes me happy to know I'm doing so much good. What sorts of good things do you do? Ah, well, you may have heard, but we're the cheapest mod shop in the city. Mods in a higher end, safer environment have never been more affordable. Mods make people happy. More people can get mods here, ipso facto. You get it, you know this. Much better job. Well done with the small talk. It helps you and it keeps me happy. I feel like I'm really getting my money's worth. Sarcastic, kiss ass, or professional. Professional. Glad to hear that I'm meeting expectations. Surpassing, even. I thought nothing of you. Know that if someone I have already decided to give money to starts second-guessing me, they may go down the toilet, human or not. Fair dues. To an extent, people should be able to replace parts of their body. They can make decisions about what to do. Kind of depends on the line here. Is it trying to gatekeep stuff, or is it providing good service and making people comfortable? I think, yeah, there is for sure a balance to strike, but, like, I think it is not a decision that should be made lightly. Do you have any hobbies? As a small business owner and entrepreneur, my work takes up most of my time. But I do quite enjoy music. Anything you'd recommend? Of course. I listen to many genres. Neoclassical punk, ferocious flute, pop folk metal, underground M-pop covers. You'd probably like Birdsong and Symbols Volume 3. It's a concept album about childbirth expressed through birdsong, wind chimes, and cymbals. Do I give off that vibe? It's a must listen if you're looking to expand your music repertoire. I'll check it out, thanks. I definitely won't. What's your favorite element? What do you like most about music? Such a wide range of experiences, emotions, visions, and memories can be evoked through only our ears. Although we do offer mods that make music a multi-sensorial experience. Though you know that, of course. You compose or just listen? I experiment, but I wouldn't call what I create music. It's much too crude for that. Alright, I think I've got what I need. Let's move on. To the recommendation! Excellent! I look over my notes detailing my talk with Baron. They're a mess of advice and intentional obfuscation. So, I think... You better recommend me! No. I mean... is this even your boss? Is this an elaborate form of corporate kink foreplay? Could be. I don't think we've heard anything in there that suggests we shouldn't recommend the procedure. You'll be happy to hear that I do recommend you then. Great! My reasoning being that... it's harmless, it fits his budget. I mean, it probably fits the budget. We don't know that it's harmless. Do we? Like, the thing is, like, it suits him is what we could say to a client, but it's not actually our reasoning behind it. Sorry. Let's just go with suits him. Let's see what happens. Can't be doing that much harm. Glowing tattoos would suit you well. You really think so? And what if I wanted the high-end version that changes color depending on my environment? What would you say then? Encourage spending more. And then I'd try to convince you to spend outside your budget, if the higher end model is what you really want. Oh, you bet it is. Great, that's exactly what I like to hear. Now for my favorite part. The cross-selling? The upselling and cross-selling. As you know, or should know, you check that catalog in front of you and pick some options you think I'd like. Pitch them to me, but don't push too much. You'll come off annoying. Do you want a drug-resistant liver while you're here? Do you want something that's only available in the full game? Pull open my tablet. Do you want fangs? Do you want to improve your sense of smell? I mean, a drug-resistant liver does sound helpful. You want fangs? You want fangs? That could go well with glowing tattoos. Looks as a burglar or some kind of sniper assassin. It can't be doing that much harm. Number 2 is you look like you take a lot of drugs. Kind of, yeah. I mean, improved sense of smell it feels like if you were going in for this, I don't imagine that, I think they would immediately be like, you're just trying to upsell me whatever bullshit you've got in your catalog. Whereas Fang Teeth, you might just be like, you going for some cool aesthetic shit here? You want some cooler aesthetic shit here? And the drug-resistant liver is kind of not our problem, I guess. Let's just try the fang teeth. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think that makes sense. Picks everything out? Good. Now I can check this handy tablet in front of me and see all the goodies you're offering. Oh, okay, so we choose them and then we can choose whether or not to try to sell them. Right, okay. Have you considered getting fang teeth? Looks cool. Looks like vampire. Fits his vibe. I mean, looks cool and fits his vibe feel like they would both be similar compliments. That's all the same option. Yeah, kinda. But maybe that's where the challenge comes in. I think... Let's try fits his vibe. I feel like they'd fit your vibe. I think I give off spooky vibes. Do I? I meant that the teeth give off a cool and suave feeling, which does fit your vibe. Oh, I see. Excellent. Never tell a bald person they look like a vampire because the implication is he looks like Count Orlok. I suppose I must get the teeth then. I feel like I've sold a fair amount based on Baron's hypothetical budget. I don't want to push things too much. Do we need to go over all the logistic elements? Baron waves a hand. Nah, that's fine. If I decide to actually get anything, I'll speak to Sol directly. Let's go over my feedback and then we can wrap up. I take a slow breath. This'll be good. Great job learning from your mistakes. I appreciated how you recovered after we spoke about you chatting with clients more. You took feedback well, so take credit for that. I know I'm not always the best at delivering my comments. And in the end, you made a good decision. Now, as for your efforts at cross-selling, you could have tried to sell me more mods. I barely bought anything extra. Alright, that's all for today. Good work. Tension I hadn't realized I was holding releases from my shoulders. Look forward to seeing your progress. I watched Baron leave, feeling a bit shaken. Things went well overall, but I know Baron will continue keeping an eye on me. After staring at paperwork for a few hours, the clock ticks over to leaving time. I let my gaze linger over my office to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, then leave to begin my trek home. The apartment! I climb the stairs to my apartment and shut the door with a sigh. I hear a slight rustling and look around. Nibbles is watching me from her cage! Nibbles! A little baby! Just a small baby! Nibbles dandelions! Even better. Incredible. Seeing her always fills me with warmth. Check her food. I check her food and notice she's eaten less than usual. I refill her water and wonder if my worry is warranted. I glance at the time. Vet should be calling soon. Let her out for a bit. I open the door to the fence around Nibble's hutch. She slowly hops forward, settling down on the rug next to me. I can't tell if she's moving more slowly than usual or if I'm just projecting. I give her a small pat and sigh softly. Give the bunny some body mods! I rub Nibble's forehead gently. She seems to relax a bit. Dandelion is pronounced like Evangelion. Not Evangelion? I watch Nibbles roll onto her side. She's lying on her usual spot on the rug, near my usual spot on my bed. She seems more tired than normal today. Give her a treat, give her a treat. I grab some washed kale from the fridge and offer it to Nibbles. She picks up a bit and starts munching on a corner. I'll get her some more later. Clean up your dishes. There are some dishes from last night I haven't dealt with. I wash each by hand and drop them on my 2-tall stack of dry dishes. That's gonna be a problem left for tomorrow. I look around, feeling listlessness rise in my chest. I need something to do while I'm waiting for the vet to call. Let's unpack. I moved down to this apartment about 2 months ago. I couldn't afford my old one anymore. I look around the space that doesn't quite feel like home and can't help but notice all the ways it's worse. The room is too small for all my stuff. Much of it still sits in half-unpacked boxes. It's further from my new job, adding time to my commute and shifting my sleep schedule. Still wake up bleary some days. No amenities are included. Savings come at the expense of my comfort. Home does not feel like a place of rest. Mechanically, I pull objects out from boxes and try to find room for them in overstuffed cupboards and drawers. After about two boxes, my brain starts to hurt. I'll leave the rest for another day. Now, the trouble is, I don't feel like any of these are going to help keep your mind off things until the vet turns up, but let's play with Nibbles a bit. I grab some of Nibbles' favourite toys to throw and place them around her. She glances towards them, but seems disinterested. The worry between my ribs radiates outwards. I pick up the book that's been long abandoned on my nightstand and flip it open. I should get it back to my friends soon. They're probably missing it. I sit on my bed, lean up against the wall, and let myself settle back into the story. After about 20 minutes, my phone rings. Take a breath. I take a slow, long breath, trying to center myself. I hit a button on the side of my earpiece. Hello? Hello, this is Dr. Monk's office, calling back with the test results for your rabbit, Nibbles Dandelions. Oh, yeah. Thank you for managing such a quick turnaround with the test results. We understand how important this information is to our clients. The speaker on the other side of the line clears their throat. Unfortunately, the tests came back positive. Your rabbit is suffering from... The voice turns to static in my mind and I feel my hands start to shake. I stand there, staring at the wall, keeping as still as I can. Hello? Is everything okay? What do I do now? We'll need to schedule Nibbles Dandelions for surgery. My blood runs cold. Is she going to be okay? How much is this going to cost? How much will the surgery cost? The procedure will cost $17,000. It's a lot more money than I have in savings. Is there an option to pay by installments? No, we require full payment up front. Alright. That's like 10 drug-resistant livers. And that's not even like... That's the full liver. That's not even our commission on it. Alright. I try to keep my voice from sounding as shaky as I feel. That's more than a new rabbit would cost, but it's Nibbles Dandelions! You would abandon Nibbles Dandelions like this? What'll happen in the surgery? We'll remove the infected organs. After, we'll put Nibbles Dandelions on an antibiotics regimen, and in a month or so, she should fully recover. Are there any risks in having the surgery? We've performed this procedure many times. There is very little risk. About as much as getting a nano-animated tattoo. Very low risk, then. Only way to save Dandelion is to body mod it onto yourself. Just consider the price unreasonable. It is a very unreasonable price. Are there any alternatives to surgery? This is the option with the greatest chance of success. Alternatives require prolonged treatment and are not guaranteed to permanently cure Nibbles Dandelions. Okay, thank you. How soon will the surgery be? We can schedule in for next week Sunday. It's 13 days from now. Can Nibbles wait that long? Will there be enough time to get the money to cover the surgery costs? I fall asleep during a faux client interview and wake up to our pet bunny may perish? Our pet bunny may perish! Tony! Nibbles Dandelions! Nibbles Dandelions, Tony! Okay. Thank you. I don't start biting my lip and stop. We finalize the appointment details and I hang up the phone. The cost to repair something should never exceed the cost of buying it new, is my point, yeah. Very safe surgery and she will make a full recovery. I look down at where Nibbles has flopped on the floor and my heart sinks. Saving 17,000 in 12 days, well, 11 work days, isn't impossible, but I don't feel good about my odds. I sit down next to Nibbles and run a hand through her fur. I can't imagine losing her. I don't remember making dinner, and the food is tasteless when I eat it. I keep glancing over at Nibbles, reassuring myself she's still there. The apartment feels more cramped than usual. I usually keep the window closed, but today it makes the walls feel like they're closing in on me. Before I head to bed, I open my banking app to pay my utilities. Ah, the one-day weekend! Yeah, it seems intense here. It might be best not to keep paying for so many luxuries, at least until I've saved up enough for Nibbles. Available in full game! Okay, cool, I won't worry about it for now then! It takes me too long to fall asleep. I turn back and forth under the sheets, unable to feel comfort or stop my spinning mind. There's maybe another game that breaks 100%. 100%. Already happening. I wake up and realize I don't hear the sound of my alarm. I blink and notice that there's too much light in the room. I check the time and a bucket of cold water falls over me. I needed to leave for work an hour ago. I quickly rush to get dressed and refill Nibbles' food and water, then I grab my lunch and run out the door. Halfway to the elevator, I start worrying that I have a client interview booked for this morning. I spend the rest of the trip to the clinic bouncing between dreading being late and hoping I'm misremembered and it's tomorrow. Let's do a quick save. Why not? I'm allowed. I step into the clinic and a notification pops up letting me know there's a client waiting in my office. I curse, grab the client's file from behind the reception desk and make my way to the consultation room. I'm only a few minutes late to the appointment, but a splash of guilt still runs down my throat. I muster a smile, knock gently, and open the door. The customer is sitting in one of the chairs. They seem to be engrossed in a tablet, probably working. Sorry for the wait. Welcome to Envisage Poetry. I always cringe a bit at the clinic's name. I'm Jen. I use all pronouns. How can I help you today? They look up at me from where they're sitting. Good morning. I'm Ocean. This is the room for consultations, right? They look to be in their early 20s, but their composure makes me think they're older than they look. There's a conviction in the way they sit, and they relax a bit. Clients who know what they want are always easier to deal with. Yep, you're in the right place. Usually I have some time to prep before my meetings. I clench my hand around the data chip. Probably won't be an issue to ask for a moment to get myself oriented, but I can't get a good read on this client yet, and the wealthier ones can sometimes be unreasonable. Then pick a pronoun. I'm not here to play riddles with the gender sphinx. I mean, if they said that, that would help us get a vibe of who they are, if nothing else. Let's check the file. If you wouldn't mind giving me a moment to catch up, my mornings have been a bit busier than I expected. No worries. Near the top of the file, I find Ocean, he, they, 27. Under the line of work section, I find a brief explanation of a small gardening business. Desired procedure. I find the section detailing the mods Ocean would like. Seems like standard gender-affirming care. It's a pretty straightforward procedure with a few days recovery time. I finish scanning the file and close it. This should be enough for a starting point. Now to learn more about what Ocean is looking for and why. So, you're looking to get gender-affirming work done? That's correct. The next question I need to ask is probably not the most respectful or kind, but it is part of standard procedure for consultations. Try to ask tactfully. Are there any factors motivating you to make this change? Well, I mean, aside from the obvious. Why do you need to know? Wait, that's the question? I don't understand what you'll ask if you click these things. That is tricky, yeah. Like, it's not always immediately obvious what is gonna happen next when you pick them, but something uncomfortable, maybe medically necessary question would be about biological sex or something. I'm just trying to understand you better. Knowing what you're looking for will help me recommend options. They sigh. I socially transitioned some time ago and started taking hormones some time after that. Being honest with myself is something I've had to learn. About a year ago, I realized I'm not happy with how things are. I'm uncomfortable when I see myself in the mirror. I don't like parts of my body. And I can understand that now, so I want to take steps to make myself happier. Why wait? I understand. What does your budget look like? I've done my research, and I should have the right amount to cover everything I'm looking for. Yeah, no, this game is killing me. Are you sure you have the right amount? In Viz's poetry, I cringe. It costs more than your block sawbone. Yes, I'm positive. I've covered all the required information, but it might be helpful to know more about Ocean before moving forward. Baron will not be happy if he finds out that I didn't keep the conversation going for longer. On the other hand, it might be better to wrap this up before I upset Ocean more. Can I ask more about you? It depends what you want to know. I saw that you work as a gardener. And? What's your work like? Lots of hands-on stuff. I enjoy the plants, but the customers can be a bit... He laughs a bit. I'm sure you know. Could you tell me more about your work? It's hard to find jobs that you like when you're born on the floors near me, but I really do love plants. What do you love about plants? I always felt like they accepted me unconditionally. As long as I looked after them, they'd look after me. And they never see me as anyone but myself. I feel that way about my rabbit. She just wants a friend who loves her. She doesn't care about my bag except for wanting to help with it. Ocean hums in agreement. And what's your work environment like? I try to deliver the question neutrally, not wanting my curiosity to overwhelm or alienate. Ocean raises an eyebrow. You mean, do I work in real sunlight? I don't know that I understand what's happening here. Oh, yeah, sorry, Ocean's laugh cuts me off. It's fine, really. Most people ask. Not all my clients are high enough up, but a lot of them get almost direct sunlight. I've never worked for anyone with unfiltered light, though. I struggle to keep the awe off my face. I know, it's pretty wild. Nothing a low-fall guy like me would ever have dreamed of. Tell me of sunlight. It makes up your typical clientele. Usually upper floor people with big lots they want to fill with a garden to rub in their neighbors' faces. Sometimes some mid-floorers who can afford to add a bit of nature to their homes. Anyone famous? Anyone I would know? Maybe a couple, but I'm not naming names. Of course. Sorry for asking. No worries. What's the sunlight like? Well, it's about as bright as it is here, in the mid-levels. It's also warm. It's like the light itself is carrying a heat with it. Took me some time to notice, but I promise it's there. The higher up you are, the warmer it is. It's amazing. I don't try to hide the wonder in my voice. Yeah, it really is. What kinds of work do you do? Mostly garden design, ranging on planting, maintenance. Sometimes customers ask for convoluted work and, well, I can make the plants do what I need. I much prefer to let them grow as they like. To work with them, to achieve the shapes and colours I need, you know? Can you explain what you mean? Sure. Say, for example, a customer wants mint to grow in a very specific part of their garden. I can't just plant it and let it be. Most species of mint are highly invasive. So, I'm left with a few options. I can use withering stones to create a barrier that goes through the ground and up far into the air. Any plant matter that tries to pass it will die. I can use specific vegicides to kill mint that grows in the wrong areas. Or I can use maintained mint, a type of modded mint, instead. Maintained mint doesn't grow outside of where you plant it. Now the issue is that I don't really like any of these options. I can put the mint in jail for its crimes. I'd much rather just use a different plant that smells similar or has a close color and isn't invasive. Problem solved. Much simpler. And that's what I mean by working with the plants. It means taking their nature into account and using that to create the desired effect. Does that help? Yeah, I get that. I try to do something similar when making my recommendations. Often I find myself suggesting mods that fit a client's needs more than their wants. Ocean hums thoughtfully. Solitary confinement! Do you do work with any modded plants? Occasionally, but I try to avoid it when I can, especially if there's natural alternatives available. I mean, he did kind of already go over why. Well, I regret going down this line of conversation now. How come? It bothers me when mods change a plant's nature, like making a plant that prefers the shade long for the sun. Feels like that's tampering with a plant's nature, its truth, its personality, really. I think some things aren't meant to be malleable. Interesting. Ocean inclines their head in agreement. Boy, you're trans, shut up! Do you have any hobbies? I'm really into tea, actually. Could you tell me a bit more about tea? What do you want to know? What part do you like the most about tea? I like figuring out how to express flavors. Well, actually that's not entirely true. I think what I like more is the process of transforming plants into tea, and then again transforming their leaves into a beverage. Tell me of this tea you speak of. What do you think it is about the transformation process that you find appealing? I guess I like how the plant can live on and impact the world in different ways before its time is over, and how each version of it brings out new qualities and experiences. That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about how these things apply to the process of making tea before. Thank you for teaching me something today. What kinds of tea do you like? Oh, all kinds, really. I've gotten into mushroom tea recently. Have you tried it? No, never even heard of it, actually. Well, if you ever get the chance, you should try some. It's really quite unique, is a good word, I think. It sounds like a must-try experience. What got you into tea? As you know, I harbour a love for plants. I work with a large variety of plants, including those whose leaves are used as herbs or for teas. I started growing a few at home and selling prepared teas to coffee shops. Ocean pauses, seeming to think for a second. Would you be interested in buying my tea sometime? I could even let you try some mushroom tea. He smiles, but it feels a bit forced. I can tell they're nervous about my answer. Ocean's tea seems to hold a lot of importance. I'd love to try your tea sometime. Ocean smiles, trying to hide their relief. Well, you won't regret it. I'm sure I won't. Do you have anything planned for after the procedure? Why do you ask? Practical. You'll need to refrain from strenuous activity for some time after your procedure. I'm just checking that it won't interfere with any of your plans. I'm planning a small trip with my friends to celebrate. Should be undemanding. What are you planning for your trip? It's just a visit to a mid-floor resort. Nothing that exciting, really. Jin, please, flirting with patients is worse than flirting with your boss. Oh, there must be more to it than that. Have you got an itinerary planned? Mostly just spending time with my friends and exploring the resort. Maybe looking at some of the plants they've got there if my friends don't mind me dragging them along. Sounds relaxing. I hope it's rejuvenating. I hope so too. How long is the trip? Just a few days. Can't afford to take any longer away from work. I really get that. I don't think I'll be able to afford a vacation for at least a year. Realistically, a lot longer though. Sorry you can't take all the time you want. Ocean smiles a bit, acknowledging a shared experience. It is what it is. We've got an ad break. We're gonna take a little bit of a pause. Actually, we'll wait until the ads properly start, because there's a decent chance it's gonna be like, oh, ads are starting now! And then it's gonna be like 2 minutes before it actually does anything. Location. Which resort are you visiting? One of the biodomes. And which one are you visiting? Oh, there the ad break. I know it's a boring trip idea, but I really wanted to see all the plants in the jungle one. Oh, I need to fix my weird body again. It keeps happening. My body keeps getting weird. Who allowed this? Who permitted such a thing to happen? Not me. Maybe I should mod my body. Hey Jin, what can you recommend for my weird body? Want to hear about my hobbies, Jin? You want to know what I got going on? So, I'm in the... Jin, here's my situation, right? I'm in the middle of a big marathon set of streams. We're playing a bunch of narrative games. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Choose Wisely Festival on Steam. Point is, I'm spending a lot of time on my computer for it, so I kind of need something to help me with that. Alternatively, I need to learn to look after myself better, but... There's a black hole of small talk. Yeah, I don't think I would be cut out for this job too well. Like, I don't know. I care about people, and I'd want them to get what's right for them, but I do struggle with small talk. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I have to ask questions to get to know more about this person. Shoes? You're wearing shoes? How do you feel about shoes? Shoes? You know, ask the gardener about dialogue trees, considering how much you love exhausting them. That's a me thing. We're here to make choices. That's what this festival's about. I want to know every bit of detail that I can before I start getting into things, because otherwise... Ah! I do wonder if there's, like, secret relationship mechanics going into this a bit. Of, like, we've had a few times where Ocean has smiled or, like, sided with the relief a bit or whatever. And I wonder if that affects how likely you are to be able to sell a mod to them. Or, like, yeah, upsell them and stuff. But if nothing else, you're getting information, I guess. She dreamily looks into the middle distance throughout the entire conversation. Yeah. Look, neither of them is great at making eye contact, and that's fine. I know it's kind of a boring trip idea, but I really wanted to see all the plants in the jungle one. Well, I'm excited for you to see all the amazing plants. Although I assume you must have encountered many of them before. Yeah, but they have a few rare ones whose seeds are kept only by the biodomes, and there's... They freeze suddenly. Sorry, this probably doesn't interest you. As in, I agree it doesn't interest me? Not at all. It's fun for me to hear about things that interest you. Ocean looks a bit startled, then smiles slowly. Thanks. Well, I'm sure you'll have a great time. Thanks. I look over my notes. It's time to make my recommendation. I need to save another $8,668 over the next 12 days to afford the surgery for Nibbles. If Ocean has the procedure done here, I'll earn at least $1,600. I don't think I've heard anything that's made me think, no, this boy shouldn't get his surgery. How far back can we scroll? All the way to the start. What did we say about the procedure? Straightforward, a few days recovery time. Okay, doesn't really say anything about, like, strenuousness. It doesn't sound like they'd be pushing too far with that anyway. Looked over his nuts. He already has a full bionic arm. He probably knows more about mods than Jin. Yeah, fair. Based on what we've discussed, I can easily recommend that you go forward with the desired procedure. A wave of relief rolls over Ocean. That's great! We discussed what Ocean is looking to get done, and I put together a suggested plan. Now it's time to see if I can get Ocean to agree to buy anything more. Ooh. Look down at the mod catalogue. What kind of mods would Ocean like? Might like facial hair? Might like voice? My, like, eyes? This adds a lot to the cost, is the thing. Thank you for allowing you to give us money. I mean, he might be interested in these, but I guess it's up to him to say, no, I don't want that, thanks. Let's just see. Alright, that seems good. There's a few more mods I'd like to talk to you about. You'll be able to see the models and prices on that tablet in front of you as I bring them up. Sure. How do you feel about facial hair? Have you considered custom facial hair? I have facial hair. I shave. I mean, just ask. Stop selling beard. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of another thing of those, like, because we could, well, we don't need to add a beard, I guess, if he's already shaving. It doesn't sound like this makes it so the beard he currently has would stop. So I think we can probably just stop selling beard. Although we are a salesperson. Let's talk about remove patchiness. We can get to growing more evenly. It's even enough. I just like being clean shaven. Okay. I feel like actually the sharper eyes he may not be interested in based on like some of the stuff he was talking about with the plants. I don't really know where he entirely lies in terms of mods. Let's talk about the voice. Have you considered customizing your voice as part of your transition? You can offer custom voice creation. The mod would give you a more pronounced Adam's apple. It's in style. With sharper eyes, you could track down escaped mint easy. See, I was thinking the sharper eyes might be good for, like, I mean, to be fair, sharper eyes are probably never a bad shout. But, like, for helping him spot things with the plants, the small details or whatever. But, let's go with works with planned mods. This mod would complement your planned mods well. People often buy them together. Ocean swipes through a few models on the tablet. I'd be down for funky modded Adam's apple. This one looks good. Sounds great. Let's talk about sharper eyes. What do you think about getting sharper eyes? Seeing distance, identifying plants, read expression. I mean, that's kind of the rationale I had behind it. Let's go with that. It can help you see fine details on plants to help identify them or monitor their health. That would be useful. He checks the mod on the tablet. Yeah, alright. Already here, might as well. Let's do it then. It's probably enough cross-selling. There's only so much Ocean is willing to spend. Oh, I hope that doesn't come back to bite us later. Oh, I'm so scared that we're going to recommend mods and then they're going to come back to us in 2 days and be like, everything's exploding in my brain! We settle on the procedure details and I explain the remaining information to Ocean. Next, our clinic surgeon, Dr. Sol, will give you a quick physical to double check you're fit for the procedure. Once you've gotten a good, clean bill of health, I'll schedule your operation date. At that point, I'll also take your deposit, which will be half the total cost. Sound good? Ocean smiles, attention uncurling from their shoulders. Sounds great. I return his smile and we shake hands. Theirs feels firm and welcoming. We walk out of my office together. A bit later, having seen Sol set up Ocean's appointment and gotten their deposit, I return to my office to get started on the post-session paperwork. A few hours later, I hear a knock on the wall by the open door to my office and look up. Got a minute? Sure. I need you to run down to Wingurden and place an order. Should take less than an hour. They have our payment information on file. If you sell them mods that don't actually do what you claim they do, then you're in scam territory. It's not necessarily that they wouldn't do what they're doing, just if something goes wrong. What do you need me to get? Sol hands me a list. It's all here. The bag is in its usual place. Just give that to Wingard and she'll know what to do with it. Feel free to call me if you have any questions or if they give you any trouble. What do you mean, trouble? Sol shrugs slightly. You know how Wingard gets. No? Before I have time to follow up, Sol gives a wave and walks back out of my office. I look down at the list she gave me and sigh. Guess I'm off to Winnie's. The trip to Winnie's shop is uneventful. I make one wrong turn, but notice pretty soon after. Sounds like we could use some sharper eyes. Before I know it, I'm approaching her stall. No, I won't be going lower than that. Stop asking. Winnie's voice carries down the street. I've never heard her sound so stern. If you want to pay that much, find some 2-bit hack who'll sell you defective junk. When you decide you want to put quality parts into your body, you'll crawl back here. Of course, by then, your flesh will be rotting around half-baked amps and shoddy nanocomponents, your kidneys failing from filtering a deluge of filth pumped into your heart, then back through your body. I'll laugh in your face and remind you about today. Then I'll charge you double, and you'll pay it, because you'll be so desperate for something good. Now get the fuck out of here. You're not worth more of my time. Yeah? Fuck you, Winnie. The customer spits and turns away, almost bumping into me as I approach the stall. I didn't see you there. Jin from Envisage Poetry, right? Everything alright? No, sure. Just a customer trying to haggle me down, thinking they got more power than they do. This is my shop, and my word is final. Sometimes people just need a friendly reminder of that. Makes sense. This is your place of business, they should respect that. See, you get it. You get customers like that often? Often? Nah. Usually my reputation filters out dregs like that. I pull the list out of my pocket. Sol gave me this. It has everything we're looking to buy. She mentioned you have our payment info? That I do. Hand over your list. Let's see what we can do for Sol, They give it a quick glance over. I've got most of this in stock, but the last bit you'll need to wait for. I'll drop that off myself. Everything else I'll give to you whole back day, alright? Sounds good? That's what I like to hear. Winnie takes the bag I brought from the clinic and begins moving around her shop, picking items off shelves and bags. And they pause when they spot a bin, half slid under a table. She looks back at me, and then the bin. How would you feel about a bit of side work, Jin? You mean working here? Not exactly. I've currently got an excess of eye mods, telescopes, microscopes, color diffs, dark vision, electromags, sharpeners. Basically the lot. Sold some sharpeners to Ocean today. Well, keep that to ourselves since I'm not so sure about that one. I can always bring it up later. If you can sell them off for me, I'll kick you back 15% of my profits. Not a bad deal, I think. Well, we do need medicine for our rabbit. But also, that sounds risky as hell. And I'm scared of that. Could I have some time to think about it? Of course. There's no real rush on my end. If you decide you want in, let me know anytime. I'm always happy to do business when business is good. She hands me the much fuller bag. This is for you. I suppose I'll be seeing you more often now that Sol can send you instead of coming herself. Winnie turns and I follow her gaze to see a customer approaching. It was nice chatting, Jin. Come by again soon. She offers a mock salute and then steps away. Thank you. They offer a wave without turning back. I reposition the bag over my shoulder and head back to the clinic, Winnie's words circling through my head. When I go back to the clinic, Sol is working in the lobby. She looks up and sees me in the bag. Is that everything? There's a bit more Winnie will drop off later. Sol lets out an acknowledging noise and holds out a hand for the bag. Do you want me to drop it in your office? I'm asking you to hand it to me now. Why would I want you to take it to my office? So you wouldn't have to carry it there yourself? I understood what you meant. I was asking why you didn't listen to what I said. Sorry. Here. I hold out the bag and she carries it a few steps over to the counter. She quickly opens it and begins to rummage. It looks good. Thanks for grabbing it. She pauses and looks back up at me from the bag. How's Wingard in? Seemed friendly. She's nice. Friendly. Alright, that's good. And they didn't do anything weird, did she? Weird in what way? Anything that seemed out of place, unprofessional, made you uncomfortable? Just anything you'd want to talk about. I mean, I ain't fussed about yelling at the customer. I think while we're still thinking about the kickback offer, nah. nothing comes to mind. Nope, nothing to note. Okay, good. You'll let me know if they do? Of course, maybe. Sol takes a glance at the clock on the reception computer. Why don't you head home? I'll cover with Baron if he asks. I'll finish up my paperwork first. I only have a bit left. If you insist, we can leave together later then. Sol turns and walks back to her office. Was she waiting for me? Later that day, after finishing our work, Sol and I leave the clinic together. We chat idly on the walk to the elevator. It's a bit busy and I let her take one ahead of me. She thanks me and I hide my mixed feelings behind a smile. I didn't want her to see what floor I was getting off at. I get home exhausted and collapse on my bed. After a bit, I roll to the side and notice Nibbles watching me. Your baby. I close my eyes and focus on my breathing for a bit. When I open my eyes, Nibbles has moved into a little house. She's not her usual self, and it hurts to see her this way. My worries circle in my head, saving 8,668 in 10 more workdays. I sigh and roll over to face the wall. Not impossible, I remind myself. Still a chance. Today went well. Tomorrow will too. I glance at the stack of boxes awaiting unpacking and fatigue preemptively settles on my shoulders. I pull out kitchen appliances I have no room for and haphazardly squeeze them onto my limited counter space. A lot of them end up beneath the kitchen table. I sigh. Another reason it'll be some time before I have guests. I spend some time making dinner, then clean everything up. Available in full game! Grimly, I open my banking app to check things over. By the time I get to bed, I feel drained to my bones. Honk shoo me. I wake up with my alarm and sigh contentedly. It's nice not to be in a rush. I make a low-effort breakfast and take a quick shower before getting changed, feeding Nibbles, and heading to work. I have another appointment today. A larger part of me than I'd like to admit hopes it'll be someone looking for an expensive procedure. As I enter the clinic, I notice a message from Baron. The client's file is waiting for me on my work tablet. I make myself a cup of tea and carry it carefully to my office. Sit down, take a sip, and swipe open the client's file. I'm expecting him to arrive just after noon. Baron left a note at the bottom of the file saying to watch myself with this one, which makes me a bit nervous. Just a quick save. Don't worry about it. It's fine. He rarely butts in, saying that he prefers to leave the human aspect to the psych line, which is fair. That's what he's paying me for. Whoever's coming in must be important. I swipe open the file on my tablet. At the top of the file, I see Florence Sanderin, she, her, 3-4. She's 3-4 years old. 34. Florence Sanderin? Must be an upper floorer. No wonder Baron gave me a heads up. It's unusual for us to get top floor clients. They usually go to nicer clinics. Well, an upper floor client explains why Baron also told me not to ask her about her budget. Okay, bear that in mind. Occupation. Under the line of work section, I find a really long explanation that can be summarized as stay-at-home spouse. There's also a brief mention of an interview show she hosts. The small talk must take hours there. Seems like a hobby project. The section detailing the mods Florence Sanderin would like is much shorter than I'm used to. Seems like she's coming in for a voice change. It's a technically difficult procedure and not that common since it's expensive and impossible to completely reverse. The recovery time is usually less than a day. From her file, Florence Sanderin seems like a pretty typical upper floor trophy spouse. There are a few things that don't entirely line up, but they also don't seem relevant to the consultation. This dystopian future has forgotten the word podcast. I close the file and clean up my office a bit. The fact I'm seeing an upper floor client has got me a bit more nervous than I'd like to admit. I've never met with an upper floor client. We can't access most of the higher end mods, even if our clients could afford them. Nor can we offer the level of service they often expect. Before I know it, there's a gentle knock on my door. At the sight of Florence Sanderin, I freeze momentarily. Hi, you can call me Florence. She, her. She smiles a little, and I have to remind myself to breathe. I can't remember the last time I saw someone so beautiful. Confess you'd die for her, you say. Tempting, tempting. Might get things off to a bit of a weird start. I get the feeling that opening up with confess you'd die for her might not be watch yourself with this one kinds of advice. But it's hard to be certain. Normal way to... Yeah, absolutely a normal way to speak to a customer. Act normal. I force myself to move and pull the door the rest of the way open. I wrestle what I hope is a warm smile on my face and gesture her inside. Hi, Florence. I'm Jin. Any pronouns are fine for me. She steps past me and into the office, looking around slowly. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for looking after me today. She sits and her gaze turns back to me. I feel myself growing flustered. Customers aren't usually like this. The pleasure is entirely mine. Thank you for choosing Envisage Poetry. It takes all of my effort to say the words casually and withhold my inadvertent cringe. For your consultation today. Of course. I've heard good things about your clinic. Feels like I'm swallowing around a rock in my throat. Or maybe that I forgot how to breathe, or how to hold my body like a normal person. And then I hope we live up to your expectations. I'm certain you shall. She smiles a little again, and I think my heart forgets how to beat for a few seconds. I pass out on the desk right there and then. Ending 3 of 5. She's too pretty. She enhance her pheromones? It's possible. She smiles a little again, and I think my heart forgets how to beat for a few seconds. I need to pull myself together if I'm going to get through this. I sit down and try to refocus. Look at her. Jin. Jin. No. Ask questions. I should get to know about her so I can best understand what she's looking for. Her name's meaning? Florence Sandrine is a beautiful name. Does it mean anything? Florence drops her gaze, making her smile seem a bit sadder. Now, Florence comes from the Latin word florentius, which means blossoming, flourishing, and prosperous. Sandrine is a play on Sandrine, which itself is a version of Alexandra from the French Alexandros. It means to defend man. Together, my name is meant to be a blessing, to provide me with good fortune and protect me from peril. Your name's hard to say. Have you had good fortune and avoided peril? Florence lets out a small chuckle, and it sounds like glass chiming and flowers blooming and stars glinting. I think most would say so. But you don't think so? Florence shrugs with a very small movement of her shoulders. It depends on your perspective, I suppose. Regardless, my parents have ensured that I am very blessed. Now, I understand that you want to get a voice alteration procedure? And that's why I'm here. Her fingers weave and slide along each other as she speaks, and I try not to stare at them. Does she feel nervous? This is a very simple and straightforward procedure. Florence's fingers settle, and she smiles. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you for trying to reassure me. I have faith in your clinic's abilities. Why do you want to get your voice altered, if you don't mind my asking? Not at all. I understand this is part of your responsibilities as a psych client. You probably don't know, but there's a trend going around for having perfectly sweet and lilting voices. Since mine is so mundane, it might slight my family's reputation should it remain unchanged. You're right to assume that I'm unaware of upper floor trends. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way at all. It's just... I laugh and wave her off. No worries at all, I understand. I was just going to ask you to elaborate a bit on the trend. Florence flushes slightly, still clearly a bit embarrassed, before settling herself. No, of course. As you may imagine, when perfection is possible, it becomes ubiquitous. Lacking it becomes unfashionable. Sometimes it takes some time to realize that certain attributes have a perfect form. Recently, people have taken note of what they think makes the perfect voice. It's now expected to sound a certain way, and alternatives such as voice training create the appearance of lacking the means to get the modifications. What happens if someone fails to be perfect? If they're seen as unfashionable? Ostracization, social exile, rejection. Of course, this would reverberate to the person's work, their friends, their family. Everyone would drop them lest they also be burned. God dang. Could you tell me more about your parents? Such as? I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why I'm asking this question, but here we are. Could you describe them for me? What are they like? Florence pauses to think for a moment. Professional. Thorough. Efficient, maybe? Imposing. Imposing? Hi, guess who's tired? Is it you, Rohomild? What's the most despicable crime your parents have committed? Oh, that's easy. Did you know there used to be 2 towers? They destroyed one of them. Do they ever impose their will on you? I wouldn't say they impose it. They know what's best for me, and I defer to their judgment. I think there's more to her relationship with her family than she's letting on. I'll try to circle back to it. They had icky sex with kisses and gross. I saw in your file that you host an interview show. What's that like? Florence's eyes light up and she smiles a bit. How nice of you to ask. It's not a terribly exciting hobby, but it does bring me a lot of joy. I very much enjoy meeting guests and getting to know them. I suppose it's a bit similar to your work in some ways. I'd agree. I don't know if you find this to be the case too, but sometimes it feels like my clients learn a bit about themselves from this process as well. Florence nods slowly. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I think it's also about what truths are hinted to or simply left unsaid. Truths of the heart that feel too dangerous to speak outright. Yeah. I say it quietly, watching her, but she doesn't meet my gaze, leaving her exact expression unknowable. How does your family feel about your show? They don't pay it much mind. They see it as a diversion, which it is. So they don't watch? Florence shakes her head. They're much too busy. I don't expect them to. It's only a simple audio show in any case. How does that make you feel? Florence's hand fidgets slightly. I don't really feel any way about it. It's just how it is. The show is just a small hobby of mine, nothing of importance. I feel like the show might mean more to her than she's letting on. Yeah. Oh, bless her. Do you have any plans for after the procedure? No, I was just going to take some time to rest at home. There's a dinner party this weekend, but that's all. I take a moment to check my notes. Covered all the required questions. Baron told me to be careful. It might be best to wrap things up quickly so I don't have more time to embarrass myself. Nah, I don't know, bud. This feels like we gotta drill down on something. Oh, these goddamn upper floorers. Oh, I'm so cross at them. This is the first time I'm hearing of them. Learning more about Florence is probably for the better. Seems like your parents have a lot of control over your life. I don't think that's the best way of phrasing it, but they do advise my decisions. Maybe this was a mistake. How many of your decisions do they advise? The important ones. And how much advisement do they do? Do you get any say? I just appreciate that they know better than me. She stops and looks down. I let the silence widen between us. Finally, she looks up at me, solemnity in her expression. For as long as I can remember, I've understood that I'm not that clever. There are better minds to make decisions for me. Decisions that are for my betterment and good. As much as possible, I make the effort to follow the directions I'm given. I don't wish to disturb the waters or make myself more of a burden than I already have. Burden? Clever? Husband? Why do you say you aren't clever? Florence gives a small shrug. I've always been surrounded by exceptional people. I understand that I'm not like them. I'm sure you're better at doing some things than the people you know. Just because they're more skilled in certain ways doesn't detract from you. I find it's not very useful to compare myself to others. We're all skilled in different ways. I suppose that's true. But I'm not skilled at much aside from being pretty. What makes you feel like you're a burden? She looks down at her fingers winding themselves in her lap. I know my parents wanted a son instead. I spent my whole life trying to make up for that feeling. That doesn't sound reasonable. Not like you had anything to do with it. It may not be, but that's how it is nonetheless. Do you feel your husband makes decisions for you as well? Ellis cares about me. He just wants me to be happy. sometimes he does ask for my thoughts. How did you meet Ellis? Florence smiles and her gaze wanders, seeing a time gone by. We were at Dancing Arcs, a semi-annual evening party. The sun was setting and they had arranged prisms around the room to catch the light. Beauty, fears, Ellis, the three genders. The sun was setting and they had arranged prisms around the room to catch the light. A friend introduced us and we hit it off. She laughed softly. He's awfully charming. He did small things that exhibited a considerate heart. We started meeting up after that and he grew fond of me. My parents were so pleased. Ellis's father is well respected and Ellis himself is a perfect gentleman. What do you think of Ellis? Well, he's very kind. He lets me do my own things, like my show. He worries for me sometimes. And what does Ellis love about you? Well, he always tells me I'm lovely. I think he likes speaking to me also. He often asks me to share my opinion. You happy together? He cares for me. There's nothing more I could ask for. I recommend you just find a new life. Honestly, Florence. That's my recommendation as a body modification salesperson. Your parents were happy you were seeing him? Yeah, and happy with me for catching him. Beauty and fears. What scares you the most? Florence laughs a bit nervously. These questions are getting a bit heavy. Your answers help me do the best job that I can. I need to know these kinds of things to provide a good recommendation. Florence nods. Yes, I understand. It's just a bit unexpected. She pauses and I give her the space to think. I suppose what I fear the most is letting others down and disappointing them. You're worried about letting others down? Florence nods. In what way do you fear letting others down? I have responsibilities and there are expectations that are placed on me. Others rely on me. It would hurt them were I to betray their confidence. Is there anyone in particular who relies on you this way? She really fucking does need to learn to live for herself. Mostly my parents, I think. Why do you think you have these fears? I'm not sure what you mean. What makes it so scary? This is Jin trying to get it to be Neville's vet bill. I mean, maybe. Florence sits back a bit. I hadn't thought about that. She pauses for a moment. I think I'm worried about others thinking less of me. Do you think you'll lose their respect? Yes. I'm scared of losing all worth in their eyes. You feel like proving your worth is something that is expected of you? Yes. Could this be connected to her reason for making this appointment? Have you spoken to anyone about your worries? Florence drops her gaze, but I catch the forlornness in her expression. They're only simple concerns, not worth worrying others. I lean forward slightly, trying to catch her gaze. Something's telling me that she's been keeping her feelings bottled for a very long time, and she might be looking for someone to share them with. You're not bothering me. I'm here if you're willing to share. Florence looks away again and silence stretches between us. Mention your dying rabbit, now! Florence looks away again and silence stretches between us. I'm about to ask if she's alright when she starts talking. It's alright. I understand now that the cause of my worries can be dispelled if needed. I hope I'm not impeding your work, but it's not an issue for me anymore. Are you sure it's not waiting on you in any way? Yes, it's not something I need to worry myself over. Thank you for answering my questions. It's time to make my recommendation. I look down at my notes detailing facts that collect into a silhouette of Florence Sondarine. You'll be making your recommendation now? Yes. I need to save another $7,777 over the next 11 days to afford the surgery for nibbles. If Florence has the procedure done here, I'll earn at least $2,400. I mean, I would say no. I would say, girl, go get therapy. But it sounds like shit's fucked up in the upper levels. I mean, at the very least, Florence, I have so many things to recommend you. Well, you and I are very different people in that regard, Ruben. I mean, I'd probably just say, like, hey, take a bit of time and think about this, maybe. And then you can always come back. But I don't know if that's an option we're allowed to offer. Crab hates stuff is true. That's the main reason. I don't recommend that you have this procedure. I don't understand. Why not? I mean, the thing is, I feel like 1 and 3 are in there. Maybe a bit intense. The second one is sort of a practical suggestion, but also maybe more likely she'll shoot it down. I just want to be like, maybe have a little bit of a think about whether you actually want this for you. You can always come back later. Maybe pressured by worries is the closest to that, I guess. Your decision is based on your worries rather than a real desire to change yourself. But I do want this for myself. I want this to help my family. Let's try another angle. Have you considered that your voice is important to your show, and you worry there might be a negative impact if you change how you sound? My viewers are fickle enough to leave because I sound different, then their opinions don't matter much to me. If it hurts my show, then so be it. I think the show is only an amusing pastime in any case. I think it's clear how much you love your show. That doesn't change the fact that I'm uninterested in the whims of fickle listeners. Oh. This is all very scary suddenly. I also really like this track. This is really unsettling music. Ugh. He did say be careful with this one. Which perhaps we haven't been. But also, Achi-machi girl. Let's try another angle. Fine, but how about... She wants darker hair so people don't think she's old. I don't know that that's necessarily a body mod as much as it is hair dye. You seem to hold yourself in poor self-esteem. However, this change isn't motivated by a desire to feel better about yourself. You seem to only want to do this for others. And? It's my body. I should be able to use it however I want. And what I want is to help my family. I mean... It's all very tangled up, though. It is your body, but... Seem permanently changing your hair color is a body mod that exists. I'd imagine almost certainly also there would be one for being able to change your hair color on a whim. That sounds like it would be in there. It should be her decision, not her parents. Unfortunately, you're the only person with agency because you're the player, but it shouldn't be my decision. No! Your medical gatekeeper uses any all pronouns. I would not be cut out for this job, can confirm. I can't say I'm surprised to learn that, but hey, here we are. The thing is, if I go with try another angle, I don't know if something else comes up. Then I'm like, yeah, that seems like the thing I want to say. I don't feel like any of the other things we saw, I'm like... It kind of felt like similar to what we were already saying here anyway. Oof. He's bringing back to her family. I think that's the only angle that could work. But denial's a hell of a thing. And the thing is, like, saying parents forcing, like, anytime we've sort of brought the line in that direction, she kind of sort of like, they don't force me to do anything. They just very strongly recommend. And it's like... Yeah, the parents do keep coming up, so I feel like your parents are pushing you to have this procedure. This needs to be your decision entirely. But it is. Changing my voice is my choice. It's my way to help my family. I understand that you see it that way, but instinct. It just doesn't... the vibes are off. I have a strong feeling that you getting the procedure would be a mistake. And there's nothing I can say that will convince you otherwise? Should pick the I'd die for you line. Is this really what you want? Florence pauses for a moment before speaking. No, but it's what I need to do. Why do you want to change your voice? You've been over this. I need an appropriate voice in order to avoid disparaging my family. I've grown weary of arguing with you. Please just let me know if you'll be recommending the procedure, or if I need to take my business elsewhere. Based on our conversation, I'm not recommending you go forward with the procedure. What's the reason you'll be putting in your report? I think you're being pressured into the decision. I suppose that's all then. Florence gets up with a worried smile. Thank you for your non-recommendation. I strive to be honest in my assessments, both with myself and with clients. I hope I'm being honest with myself as well. I'm glad that I chose to come here. And with that, the siren is gone, along with all her glittering splendor. By the way, I have this sick rabbit. No, oh, no. I feel like she'll just get it from another doctor. I mean, and she's allowed to. I want to send her off with at least the thought in her mind to think about it, you know? Later that day, I take a breath and decide to finish some paperwork for my consultation with Florence. After getting through about half of it, my hand drifts to my mug and I realize I've finished my tea. I get up to refill it and stretch my legs a bit. As I enter the lobby, I notice Ocean walking in. Oh, please I know I'll be fine. Hey, Jin. Back again, I see. Here for the procedure? Yeah. Dr. Sol has a lot of experience. You're in good hands. I'm sure. Do I just wait here, or...? Oh, yeah, she'll come get you when she's ready. I'll let her know you're there. Excuse me. I'll let her know you're here. Alright, cool. I type a quick message to Sol saying that Ocean's here. You have any questions before you go in? Not really. The doctor will give me instructions, I assume? Yes, and she'll see you out once you're done. Then I'm good, thanks. I'm glad to hear it. Just then, Sol steps out from the surgery. Hello, Ocean. If you're ready, you can follow me. Ocean offers me a smile and follows after Sol. Sol nods to me before closing the door behind them both. I head back to my office with a lingering smile. It's nice seeing how happy Ocean is. It doesn't hurt that they'll be paying the rest of their fee today. Later that day, when I got home, I noticed Nibbles hasn't eaten today. I pull her into my lap and run a hand along her ears and count my breaths. I offer her some kale and feel a bit relieved when she starts chewing on its corner. There are only a few boxes left. Might as well get them over with. Looking between the box's contents and my non-existent space for placing said contents, I decide to just leave what's left in the boxes. It's as good a storage solution as any, given the current state of the apartment. Happy to have finally crossed unpacking off my list and assuring myself that I'm not cheating, I turn my back to the boxes. I decide to get to bed early, feeling restless and wanting the day to be done with. After getting ready, I slide open my banking account. I turn off my phone and drop it on my bedside table face down. Florence's smile haunts my thoughts as I wrestle with sleep. I can't help the feeling that there's something I missed. Well, that's a shame. I wake up at 3 in the morning with a start. Breath shaking, I try to lie back down and relax, but I can hear my blood rushing in my ears. My fingers twitch and my legs don't want to settle. I sit up and try to think of a way of distracting myself. I don't get much more sleep than that. Or I don't get much more sleep that night. My alarm goes off, and I turn it off, already awake, halfway through making coffee. I sigh. It's going to be a long day. I get into work and notice Florence sitting in the reception. She's not supposed to be here. I turn slightly and begin walking towards her. She looks up as I approach. Hi, Jin. Hi, is everything well? I can't complain. You're here for procedure? Yes. She briefly looks past me towards the closed door to the surgery before looking back. Are you off to see a client? No, I only have paperwork to look after today. Then please don't let me keep you. Don't worry, you're not keeping me at all. How's your show doing? I had to take a break, what with the procedure and needing to rest afterwards, but I look forward to returning to it soon. How's Ellis? He's well. He wanted to accompany me today, but was called away by urgent business. I hear footsteps and look over to see Sol leaving her office. Everything's ready now, if you'd like to follow me. Florence stands. I'll be right there. She turns back to me. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me a bit, Jen. I'll see you around. She turns and starts heading to the surgery. Sol stays for long enough to shoot me a raised eyebrow before leaving as well. I hear the door close behind the two of them with a soft click. I walk to my office feeling uneasy. She shouldn't be having this procedure. But whether or not she should be having this procedure is sadly something we'll have to leave for now, because we're at the end of our block. Oof. I need to stop playing games about having a job. Jobs are stressful. But I had a wonderful time with this. I really love the art. The idea of it. Oh, my brain. Jobs are stressful. We'll be back in a little bit with our next game for the showcase. I'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye.